What I want to do today is I want to at least make a motor mount. It's just sitting there, so it's definitely a little sketchy. So what I want to do is make a mount where that's pretty much tack welded in place. Want to mount the carrier. Now I'm going to have to do some cutting around this area, make room for that sprocket. So that's why I never really did much with this area yet, because I knew it was going to be cutting. So my plan today is to make a motor mount, tack weld that in, try to mount the carrier. I'm gonna have to trim that axle shaft as well. Shop's a mess, I'm a mess, this is a mess. Let's get going here, all right? Okay, so we have the carrier is mounted. I had to modify it so that it would clear the chain, which I knew was going to have to happen. I built this little area here because I had to get rid of the original 90 degree like I have over here. But I kind of like the way it looks, so I think I might do something there eventually. But we got the chain mounted. I cut the chain to length. Spins the carrier nicely. I'm going to get a brand new chain because this one's pretty whooped. I also have to get a new sprocket up here because that sprocket's pretty whooped. Man, making sure this stuff cleared. What a nightmare that was. But it all clears. The nice part is on this carrier, I can loosen these two bolts, are eccentric. I can turn the whole tube down to put tension on that chain. So I can tighten and loosen this chain. Very excited about having that option. This was my biggest concern. I was so worried I was going to have trouble with this. But I finally spent my whole entire day off making sure I got it to work. So we are one huge step closer. All right, so what I got to do now is these springs are not tough enough. The second you put any kind of, at the motor and transit, the second you put any kind of weight on it, it just bottoms the entire frame right out. Like, it almost touches the ground, and that's no good. So I have stronger springs. They're a different color. They're not gonna match my paint scheme now at all, but whatever, it is what it is. I can always paint them too. So I'm gonna get going on working on that, and yeah, check it out. All right, so out of the two coilover sets that I had, I specifically got a heavier, longer shock for the rear. I did that because I knew you were gonna have the added weight from the engine and transmission, and you figure the way the seats are gonna be, most of the person's body weight is gonna be towards the back of the vehicle. So that's another reason why I went with a heavier spring. Here is both the springs. This is from the rear, which looks a little shorter. It is a little shorter. And this is from the front. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the front springs from the strut assembly and I'm going to put the rear heavier duty springs on that strut. Now, the strut is shorter, so it is going to already compress this a tiny bit. That will also add more spring tension on this spring, so therefore it should be a stiffer suspension in the front. These fronts were just so soft that now that I have the new springs in the rear, which you just saw, it would just dip in the front. No good, you know? So I'm gonna put the heavier springs, and at the end of the day, if this is still not heavy enough, I can add the other 2 adjusters from the coilover set that I have, and I can add even more spring tension to this spring. I'm not worried now about the springs and the suspension. I just want to get the thing going. It's one thing checked off the list. We're closer to firing it up and taking it for a drive. So let me put the strut back together. Check it out. Okay, so I completed swapping over the heavy duty springs in the rear now. So when I sit on the very front, it goes about 4 or 5 inches off the ground. My initial goal for this thing was to have about an 8 to 10 inch ride height. So I'm almost 200 pounds. And when I stand on this section, which is about where the seat is gonna be, the front sits still way over 10 inches, which is perfect, because once you add the weight of the steering rack and all the steering components and the brakes and 2 seats, 2 people, fuel, a fuel tank, once all these extra things, you know what I mean, start adding up, that's when it'll finally sit probably proper. And like I said, if not, I have plenty of room for adjustment. So I'm very, very happy. Now I have blue and red shocks on this thing, which is gonna totally throw the paint scheme off. But man, I'm so excited I finally figured out the springs. That was a pain in the ass. You have no idea how much of a pain in the ass that was. So much measuring and calculating. It's finally done. God, it set me back so far. But I'm super happy now. I'm so much closer now to getting ready to drive this. Assuming somewhere around halfway through January is when I'll actually drive it for the first time. That's my projected date. January 15th, let's just say that. If I can get this running and driving by then, I'd be super happy. If I can get it done sooner, I'd be even happier. I'm not gonna push it. I got a lot of things to do and I don't have a lot of time. So, one step closer. All right, well, thanks for checking it out, and I'm excited to get working on this again. I'm excited to get this video to you. I'm a little late this week, so I apologize about that. I've been very busy, a lot of things going on, but we are one step closer. Can't wait to finish it. Take it easy.